Hi everyone, Mindful Mark here from mindbodyweightloss.info. I've got a really interesting news item for you today, and it's called Hara Hachi Bu, which basically means eat until 80% full. Now, I've never come across this or heard about it until a couple of weeks ago when I was on a Bub's Beauty video blog. I was having a look around about weight loss, and she did a video called 10 Easy Ways to Lose Weight, which I had a look at, and she explained about and talked about and touched on Hara Hachi Bu, and I was like, wow, I need to find out more about this. This is really interesting. So read a variety of articles, books, and searched the web to find as much information as I could, and I created a blog post about it. So I can only suggest that you check out the blog post and perhaps even check out, I'll put the link to that blog post, and I'll also put a link to the 10 Easy Ways to Lose Weight by Bub's Beauty, because it's got some really interesting tips in there as well. But this is the one that caught me, and I think it'll catch you. It's very interesting. The eating until you're 80% full is, the theory behind it is if you eat until you're 80% full, you don't stretch your stomach, okay? And you're more aware of consciously eating, which is a big thing that we talk about. Yeah, so the thing is, if you eat until you're 100% full, you've stretched your stomach, and it doesn't. The theory is it doesn't go back to its size. So to eat next time you eat, to get 100% full, you've got to eat more and more each time. So each time you stretch your stomach, you've got to eat more to fill up. So if you only eat until you're 80% full, your stomach doesn't stretch, so you don't put the weight on around the middle. And you do see people eat with sort of bigger bellies, and maybe this is the theory as to why that is. And it's not just about not putting weight on or anything like this. It's very interesting because where it's most popular is in Japan. Okay, and in a particular area in Japan called Okinawa. And now, in this area of Japan, has the highest number of people who reaches over 100. Now, the stats in Japan are 34.85 per 100,000 people. Now, that's high. You know, the next nearest one is France, which has 27.01 people per 100,000 who reach 100. Now, Japan's way ahead. And yet, in Japan, the Okinawans also are higher than the national average. And so this persuaded a guy, I'll remember his name, give me a second. His name is Bradley Wilcox, to go and look into this a little bit further. And he created a book called The Okinawan Diet, which talks about it a bit further. And it's really, really interesting, you know, because what are they doing? And they must be healthy to make 100. So let's have a look a bit more into this, okay? So there's been a lot of research into it's called the Okinawa Centurion Study, and you can get a link from the blog post, which is on here. So keep checking. And one of the things it says, the diet they eat is very high in vegetables and grain and fish. They have very little meat, eggs, and dairy products. That's interesting, you know. That's a good shout for the vegans, the vegetarians, and the people who have very little meat, you know. And if any meat they do have, interestingly, is pork, but it's boiled to take all the fat out. But that's not a main staple of their diet, you know. And the people who in Okinawa who reach 100 generally have very low stress. So they try and have a very calm life, and that can make a big difference. They have strong family ties. You know, I don't think, you know, they care for their families, and you know, I know in Britain we have quite a culture of putting people in care homes and elderly, which isn't very nice. But they have much more of a family unit, which is much more helpful. Another thing is that they have physical activity. They're much more active, and they work longer. Now, in the UK here, you know, retirement age is going up. So it'd be interesting to see, as it goes up, whether we have more and more people who reach 100. And if our diet changes, does that make a difference? That's quite interesting. They embrace spirituality. They find that purpose to live. And that's a very good point. I might have mentioned it before, but I love the book Man's Meaning of Life. And in it, Viktor Frankl, who was in a concentration camp, found out that the people who managed and survived best had the purpose, had a reason to live. Now, this goes back to the previous point about working. Some people, when they're not working, they don't no longer have a reason to live. So these things they found were very important to encourage, let's get this right, was very important factors in Okinawa reaching 100, a lot of them reaching 100 years old, and the highest percentage anywhere, I think, of people reaching 100 and 110. But so let's sort of round this down a little bit more, and I think the best person who rounded it down was called Michael Pollan, and he summed it up in 7 words, which I thought was quite nice. And it basically says, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Now, that pretty much sums it up. It doesn't cover the lifestyle issues like we discussed about having a purpose and sort of low stress and family, but the diet element of it, those 7 words, quite powerful, I feel. This is extended upon a little bit by Bradley Wilcox in his book, The Okinawan Diet. And he says, fill your plate with plants. And he has 7 things that you could follow. Fill your plate with plants. Very similar to what Michael Pollan said. And consider sweet potatoes. I don't know about you, but I love sweet potatoes, and the health benefits of them are very good. They don't have they're much more healthy for you than normal potatoes, so it's worth considering. In my opinion, they taste better. Number 3, he says, eat soy every day. Learn some recipes that call for turmeric. Now, a bit like sweet potatoes. You hear a lot about turmeric and about its health benefits. So, it's a valuable one to have a think about. Seeing if you can find some recipes that have turmeric in. The next one is make meat a treat. Sort of goes back to what we were saying in the Centurion study. They eat very little meat. So that's probably a way of going, and if you have it very rarely. Number 6 is one that I do quite a lot. Is drink green tea. Now, I love green tea. My tip for this is not to have it too strong. Whenever I've drunk green tea, I stew it too long. I used to stew it too long, and the taste was too bitter and didn't like it. And then somebody told me that you just have it weak. And actually now I can make a tea bag last me all day, which sounds a bit stingy, but it's how I like the tea to taste. Literally put it in, fill it up with water, take it straight out. Really nice. And my understanding of it is that you still get the same health benefits, but you don't get that bitter taste. Try it. Comment below, comment on the blog. Let us know what you think, whether that's a bit of advice that's helped you drink green tea to help you lose weight. Now this one really got me thinking, really made me think, maybe you too. It says, forgo the all-you-can-eat buffet mentality. Now, that was just getting me thinking a little bit about the mentality and the mindset that we have. And I don't know how many of you watch a program called Man versus Food. As entertaining as it is, that totally fulfills that mentality, the all-you-can-eat buffet. And not just that, it's the type of foods that you eat, because I'll come back onto the Man versus Food bit in a minute, but it says here, in the book by, I've forgotten his name again, Bradley Wilcox. Yeah, he breaks all the foods within the Okinawan diet into 4 groups, okay? And they are featherweight, which is green tea, which we mentioned earlier. We know the benefits of that, and asparagus. Lightweight, fish and brown rice, the benefits of that. Middleweight foods, like hummus and lean red meat. And then you've got your heavyweight foods, which are fried foods and desserts. Now, let's think about this back in the Man versus Food context, shall we? Man versus Food is probably the way that they work in there, the complete opposite of the Hara Hachi Bu diet, the Hara Hachi Bu diet. Now, let's think about this. What they do in man's food, they have very heavyweight foods, lots and lots of meat, and then they eat it in excess and a little bit more, and they cheer people on to do it. You know, it's a watch a program and consider whether you want to eat like that or whether you want to eat the Hara Hachi Bu way. And the contrast is immense. It's the complete opposite. They're literally encouraging you to be gluttonous, eat way above 100%. Imagine what that's doing to your stomach if it ever recovers from that. Amazing. And have a look at the meat and the food. You know, do you think that's the type of food that's going to allow you to live until 100? And then compare that into contrast with, you know, the lifestyle and the food that the Japanese eat. Excuse me. It's fascinating, isn't it? It's really, really fascinating. Now, we'll have a bit more information about this on the blog and some other links that can link you around. So, you know, go and check it out if you want to find out a bit more. Like I said, I'll keep it on the page here. So have a read. Please comment. Let me know what you think about this post and the information that's on it. And we'll be doing another post next week, so check back and keep checking back onto our YouTube channel or on our website to find out more. So this is Mindful Mark signing off for this week's news story. As I said, this week's news story is the Hara Hachi Bu, eat until you're 80% full. And I thank you for listening. And yeah, subscribe to our channel. We've got lots of other videos. So I'm going to sign off now and take care. Have a good week, everyone, and speak to you then. Take care. Bye-bye.